Hi there. So in this video I wanted to preface my technical case study by going over how I figured out the tracking between FunnelFlux and Traffic Company and Monetizer. In other words, assuming you don't have templates, how could you figure out the link structure to use, the data passing, and the postback URLs to use with these two platforms? So within FunnelFlux, or whatever tracker you may be using, I'm going to create a new offer source, go to create custom source. This will be my traffic company one. And then under data passing, what I need to figure out is what URL parameters I can use to pass data to the traffic company network and their links. And then in conversion tracking, what do I use as the postback URL? So for the hit ID that I pass to the network, how do I pass that back? What is the token that I use? So to do this, the easiest way is generally to just jump in and get links from that traffic source, or from that offer source, I should say, and add URL parameters where available, or check their documentation to figure out what they are. So going to Traffic Company, I'm going to go to Smartlink and create a link here. Now for the promo info, I'm just going to put test. I have read all these regulations, create link. Okay, and you can see here this link that it provides to me. When looking at it, I can see that that promo information I put comes up here as PI equals test. So now I immediately know that their URL parameter for promotional info is PI, and they have and click ID equals and then blank. So it's very clear from that that click underscore ID is what you would use to send unique click IDs to their system. So coming back to FunnelFlux, I'm going to put PI and click underscore ID. Click ID I want to be our tracking ID, so if I search hit ID, our tracking ID. PI is just some promotional info, it's up to you to pass whatever you want. I'm just going to use campaign so that it passes a different value for different traffic source campaigns, and that's it in terms of the data passing. Now we need to figure out the postback. So depending on the offer source you're using, that'll be in different locations. Within Traffic Company, it's under your account and then the postback tab. So heading here, you can see I already have one enabled, but I'm going to edit to guide you through this. So here it has select platform. We're not included there, so just use custom. And here it has a builder for the postback, which is a little bit atypical, but very similar to what we do in FunnelFlux, so not going to fault them for that. But here they put the URL parameters you want to pass back, and they have these variables that you can pick here, right? So rather than selecting tokens, they have the variables listed directly. Now coming back to FunnelFlux, hopefully within our system it's clear that our postback looks like this, and we have a parameter hit, TX, and rev for revenue. So likewise, if I go to settings and then tracking codes and postbacks, it'll clearly show you that there's those parameters. Hit for the hit ID, TX for optional transaction IDs, and rev for revenue. So coming here, I will want to, let me just get rid of these. I want to first pass the revenue with rev. Here I want to look for revenue. Here we have reward, so we definitely want that. I want to pass back the hit ID, which I passed to them under click underscore ID. Looking through here, it has customizable parameters, click underscore ID. Okay. And I can optionally pass a transaction ID with TX. Looking in this, question is, do we have something here that would be useful? Here, unique conversion ID. So what they're going to do is append these parameters to whatever I put here. So I want to put my postback URL before those parameters. So looking here in FunnelFlux, you can see this URL, and this is the part that they're appending, so we want this first part, hence why I use that in their user interface. I could put the tokens here, but because they use a unique kind of user interface like this, I don't really gain much benefit putting the tokens here, right? Because it's just for copying and pasting that URL, which I can't even use directly anyway. So that's how I would add Traffic Company. The next is Monetizer. So if I go to create offer source again, let's figure out the data passing. So again, the easiest way is to just go to that platform and try and create a link and see if there's a way to just populate the additional URL parameters. So coming to Monetizer, if I go to manage links and I create a new one, we can see all these settings here. Here you have these boxes for click ID / sub ID, keyword 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the obvious boxes you want to fill. So I'm just going to put test campaign, test link. That's all. And then here, what I want to do is just paste test, 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 and put all these in here to generate a link showing these parameters. So let's click create link. Okay, and then as you can see here, it has UTM campaign equals test campaign, and 1 equals test, and 2 equals test, and 3, 4, 5, and then CID for the click ID. So coming back to FunnelFlux, I want to pass CID as our unique tracking ID that's used for postbacks, and then I can add additional sub-IDs or additional information with the URL parameters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I might want to pass the funnel ID, the traffic source ID, the campaign, and that's about it. I don't need to pass more, so I'll leave it as that. Okay, so if I'm passing CID forward with our unique ID, what I need to do is come back here and figure out, okay, what is the CID token to use here? What is the payout token? And what is a transaction ID token to use, right? And that's going to give me this URL to use. So coming to Monetizer, if I go to Profile, this is where you find your postback. Within this, let's just erase this for the moment. Here they have tokens you can use. They have campaign ID, keyword 1 through 5. So these are going to correspond to that data that I passed forward under the URL parameters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Campaign ID is going to be the campaign ID that I set under campaign name, I assume. And here we have click ID, amount, offer, transaction ID, and so on. So they have their tokens here listed, right? And most of it is kind of intuitive. The token for click ID, which we passed under the CID parameter, is surely going to be this token. So we can put that here. The amount, the payout, is going to be this. And transaction ID is going to be this one here. So pasting all these in, it populates and fills out this URL for me, so I can copy that, come back here, and I could paste that in there. For the push subscription postback, it says you can enter a new postback URL for push subscriptions. This is informational only and there is no revenue. Okay, so I'm not sure about the actual revenue that you get from push here, but it says this doesn't pass revenue. Okay, so what I'm going to do is come back to FunnelFlux, and I want to track that as a custom event. So I'm actually going to go to the settings area and then tracking codes, and I want custom events. I want to use this custom event postback here. Paste this. Here I'm using custom event 1, which is fine. I want to pass back the click ID, or that we passed forward, which is our hit ID, so I'm going to put that token here. And then for revenue, it doesn't have this available, right? So I'm just going to put 0.01 as a nominal revenue. You don't really have to. Might be better to put it as 0. Yeah, let's leave it as 0. So this is what I would put in here. Nothing further to do. Yeah, that's it. So hopefully this has been helpful for those of you where figuring out the tracking side is not that clear, and showing you the process I went through to kind of figure out the data passing forward and backward. Anyway, onwards from this. I'll see you in the next video.